So in the upper left-hand corner, I'm going to sign in. And in this particular case, I'm signing in as Dell because I have most of my data there. But Bob would be logging in as his ID. And here is what he's able to do at this point, a number of things. The biggest two areas for Supplier Portal are around order management. So if you see here under order management, Bob can look at orders between the two of you. I'll come back to this in a minute. He can look at receipts, list of invoices, a list of payments, the check number, date. He can look at the details. He can see invoices attached to the particular line item here. He can look at everything that's open, paid. All of this is real time. This is Bob's avenue into the business he has between you and Bob as part of that. Under order management.
Esto es la vista de que el proveedor de todo lo que ha librado, los que han pagado, facturas, lo que falta, cosas así. Sí, okay. Good to go, Pam.
And then under create invoices, this is just great in that it allows, you've got different types of invoices. Services are fine. I've been talking items, but absolutely a service invoice is fine. If I come in as a PO match, for example, I just enter in a few pieces of information with a particular purchase order number, and then I just kind of work through here some description and the date and such. You've got control over what gets uploaded. So if you want proof of delivery, if you want an image, the amount, you control how big this image can be. So, you know, you can't upload 50 meg of something to you, right? So you control all of this process through here and really just step through what you'll see if I got it through here. Let me tie a purchase order to it. You can also look up a purchase order. I'm just going to grab one in here. And as we come next, it's going to ask, is everything in order? Are there lines on this purchase order so we can add in? We're going to just grab this one real quick. Add in that purchase order through there. And then it's going to ask, do we want to submit the invoice? And when you do that, you can view it. You can submit that invoice, and the invoice submitted by Bob, in my case Bill, will be automatically then sent to CloudSuite and becomes part of the process within CloudSuite. So if you've got a particular approval process, if you've got an alert, whatever processes you have around here can certainly be in place to notify folks to take a look or to approve that process through there. Does that help on order management side? Question.
Inmediatamente la recibe y pasa a través de vuestro flujo de aprobación, de pago y verificación y todo.
Okay.
Así que lo hace él directamente del sistema.
Ok, y si, bueno, eso me imagino que es cuestión de parametrización. El hecho de que nosotros tenemos fechas específicas para facturar dentro de un mes.
Sí.
Entonces, eso también es parametrización, ¿verdad? Para
Exacto.
que la hace la facturación fuera de la fecha que ya hemos cuadrado, se la devuelva.
Exactamente, ya.
So, Pam, can you question right around, you said that this month the invoices may only be submitted during a specific date?
Say that again? A specific date?
Yes, in that case, there's a regulation and a rule in place where they will only accept invoices during certain dates in the month. If they're not submitted in those date ranges, they will reject the invoice, and then the vendor has to be submitted. Is that because it's a new month? The invoice has to be in the month of, yes. I remember that.
Yeah, so the issue, Pam, just so you know, is that when they close off a month, they do not accept invoices from that prior month. That invoice, for example, April, so the invoice needs to be dated in April. They can't be submitting, an invoice from February, right? It has to be reissued in April.
Oh, okay.
So the date is very critical to them.
Yes, and so we can put, and Bob may need to chime in here as to how all that kind of works from a financials perspective, but yes, we can put dates around, alerts or dates around, constraints around what is valid for entry around different fields. Yes, we can do that as well.
Yeah, because this is not really like the invoice effective date for posting. That's a different issue.
Okay.
They actually require the physical invoice date, which, in SmartStream is just a reference field. It doesn't impact, the posting to ledger. But here, by law, here in Dominican Republic, by law, the invoice date itself has to be in the open period. You can't take an invoice date from 2000 and process that today. The vendor needs to reissue it with today's date.
¿Tiene una pregunta?
Actualmente nosotros estamos trabajando con el regulador unos nuevos cambios que hay de cara fiscal. Nosotros ahora recibimos la factura física del suplidor, pero ahora se van a hacer, vamos a decir que electrónica.
Sí.
Y vamos a estar recibiendo esa factura electrónica de nuestros suplidores. Eso tiene la capacidad de poderla integrar, estamos definiendo que se va a recibir aquí en un website, en una dirección, y de ahí se integraría aquí. Entonces, esto tiene la flexibilidad o característica que, de acuerdo a la regulación local, tienen unos esquemas o tienen definidos una forma de procesamiento de esta factura y de distribución de la factura como tal. O sea, que yo pongo el monto facturado, los impuestos, las retenciones, todo esto está parametrizado que yo pudiera adecuarlo por el concepto de la factura. Aplican diferentes tipos de impuestos.
Sí. Okay.
Tiene la facilidad de que yo por tipo de factura, por tipo de concepto, pudiera parametrizar los impuestos que le corresponden.
Okay, le voy a preguntar. So Pam, the question is, depending on the type of invoice or vendor, they have regulations around what type of taxing or workflow it's going to go through. That's all right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm assuming that was invoice date, right? We would use workflow. Pam, I mean, we would use the workflow, custom workflow to spot the fact that the date is out of the current date fields, right? That would be how we would trigger. Yeah. So the workflow is much more configurable in this new version. In the old workflow can only look at header values. We can really look at anything in the invoice now. But of course, at the header level, we do have the invoice date. In SmartStream, we wouldn't be able to do anything with that except to pick it off and alert. And we could do that today. We can alert the approver that everything's fine except the date, and it needs to be rejected and reissued. But we can do more in CloudSuite. I mean, we can basically turn that around, make an alert so that we're basically notifying the vendor that you submitted it, but it's not going to be accepted. It's automatically rejected because of the date.
Lo que pasa es que cuando entra una factura, el workflow, el flujo puede determinar, no solamente hay muchos datos que puede coger. Si es más de ese montante, si es de una categoría, si es de extranjero local, entonces va a pasar diferentes procesos y ahí es configurar las tasas de
And he'll see it on the portal. He'll submit it. He will go in with the wrong date. He'll get rejected. And on his portal, he'll say it was rejected, and he can look and say, oh yeah, the date's wrong. You don't have to do anything in Pam. Just push it back right to the vendor. You can see why, and you can even have a message, whatever has to be done. And then they resubmit it when they correct it.
Los ojos que hay puede ver un pequeño dashboard de lo que tengo tanto en X, tanto en tal, de categoría, y puede usted aceptar, rechazar, manejar lo que sea.
Yes, we can capture all of it.
Back to you, Pam.
Well, thank you. Remember the other part of supply